NIRSA Championship Series. I'm David Peters from Florida State University with this Team Captain's presentation for the NIRSA National Soccer Championships coming up in November in Foley, Alabama. This presentation is designed to replace the on-site captain's meeting, so we're going to save you some time and also give you a few tips to help you get down to Foley and find exactly where you need to check in for teams and make sure the rules are all squared away, as well as where you can get some more information online. So here's what's coming up in this particular presentation. I've already mentioned location and venue information, check-in, player rules, tournament format. We'll talk about the championship matches and awards, and we'll finish up with social media and other places online that you'll be able to share with not only your teammates, but perhaps fans who won't be making it to Foley, so they can track your progress throughout the championship weekend. Hey, our tournament has a storied history. We're in year 23, and it all began back in 1994 in Austin, Texas, and the National Soccer Championships have made it across the country quite a bit. We are back in Alabama. We were in Alabama earlier up at Tuscaloosa, now Foley, right along the Gulf Coast, and I think you'll enjoy a great new facility. It's the Foley Sports Tourism Complex, brand new, and this is one of their very first events. We're glad to be there hosting all of our soccer teams, so come on down to Foley and enjoy this exciting venue for our National Soccer Championships coming up here in November. How do you get there? Well, let's show you a couple of maps to kind of give you some tips if you're driving in from either Mobile or if you're driving in from Pensacola, which is located here on the east side of the screen. So first, over in the Mobile area, you will come down either I-10 or 65 and hit I-10. I-10 east over the bay, and then you'll either go to exit 44 or 49. Now, 44 is Alabama Highway 59, and it's going to take you through a couple of small towns, Loxley, Robertsdale, Summerdale, stoplights. So if you want to avoid that, go on over to exit 49. That's going to be the Baldwin Beach Express, and it's going to take a straight shot right on down and to the northern area of Foley, where you actually make a left onto the Foley Beach Express, staying on the expressway ways, and that'll take you around the east side of town towards the Foley Sports Tourism Complex. Again, you can take 59 if you want, just recognize that it might be a little slower with all those traffic lights in the smaller towns. Now, as we get towards Foley, again, here's the center of town, downtown Foley. The Highway 59 is kind of the main highway through the city, and so that's where most of our hotels will be and restaurants. So it's probably where you'll be staying for the most part here on 59. But if you're going to take the Beach Express to get there on Wednesday, here that is on the east side of town, and you will take that all the way down, almost past Foley, to Mifflin Road on the southern side of town. There's plenty of parking right outside the field house, and then also down towards the championship match area, we have some more parking. So lots of parking, not to be worried about that. And you can see the fields here numbered 2 through 7 on the lower set, 8 through 12 in the middle, and 13 through 16. Field number 1 is actually the championship field, which we'll be using on Saturday. So get parked, come on over to the field house and tournament headquarters, where you'll be able to meet some of our staff and get checked in particular, on Wednesday night. In fact, take a look at some of that staff here. Here's our NIRSA staff from Valerie and Keeley coming down from headquarters, joined by our directors of competition, Doug, Danny, and Eric. Directors and officials are Noah and David, and Sadat and Christy are our directors of operations. So this, along with a whole bunch of other NIRSA colleagues and NIRSA members, will be here to make sure that this tournament goes off successfully once again, and we hope you'll be able to interact with those individuals throughout the weekend. Some of these folks, however, will not be here, and we want to thank our regional staff from our 6 different regions who've helped us put on men's and women's regional events throughout this fall season and really organize things throughout the year. So thank you to all of these folks who have helped make NIRSA Soccer a success as part of the championship series. All right, let's go back over to the sports tourism complex. As I mentioned, at the field house, that's where tournament headquarters will be, and we'll have the results board so you can check all the scores for matches and so forth, and the playoff brackets and things, all right there at the field house. Also, of course, restrooms. We do have some concessions as well available at the field house, and our athletic trainers too. So if you need to get your ankle taped or something, athletic trainers will be available there at the field house after 7 a.m. each day. You can bring tape, and they will do that for you for free, or $2 per roll. You can purchase it from our athletic trainers. We also have some trainers scattered throughout the facility, but for dedicated assistance, just stop by the field house on the way in, and they can certainly help you with that. If you have questions and you're out in the field, you just need to get a quick answer, you can call our tournament headquarters phone number at 541-760-6254, and they will be able to help you with those sorts of questions. If you can't get to headquarters, then give us a call on the phone. A couple of other facility rules to be knowledgeable about. No animals, no tobacco products. That includes both smokeless tobacco and no smoking. No fireworks either, skateboards, scooters, unauthorized vehicles. Fans may not bring air horns, vuvuzelas, or whistles. That would include players as well, so our referees should be the only whistles that we hear out on the complex. Teams may bring drinks and food to the bench area, so if you have sports drinks and those sorts of things, you can bring your coolers and set those up right there at the bench area for your match. But fans are not allowed to bring outside food into the fields. We have concessions available for fans, so make sure that we abide by those particular facility rules. One more rule, and that is our code of conduct. It's been shared with you in some of your materials, but read it and take it seriously because you are, not just you as the team captain, but all of your players are representing your school throughout the tournament, both on and off the field. So we want to make sure that you are keeping your conduct appropriate, respect the game, respect your opponent and the game officials, the hotels as well. Very important to make sure that we're behaving properly there as we are being welcomed into Foley for this tournament. We want to make sure that we are good guests. Issues, if we have any, and we hope we don't, may be referred back to your schools. We don't want to have to make that referral, and teams are subject to removal from the actual tournament as well as being banned from future tournaments for serious misbehavior. So stay out of trouble, make sure you're on good behavior, and you'll have a good experience for you and your school at this year's championships. All right, team check-in. We said it was at the field house there at the complex. It's going to take place on Wednesday night between 6 and 8 p.m. in Foley, Alabama in Central Time. So make sure you set your watches accordingly to be there between 6 and 8 to get checked in for your team. When you're there, bring your roster with you. You will see later, as you already know, light and dark jerseys are required for your team. So if you'll bring your roster with player numbers already on those, and if there are a different number for each jersey, please make a note of that on your roster when you come to check in. And late check-in, if you're not going to make it by the 8 o'clock time, unfortunately, is a $25 fine. So be there and avoid that small fine. Now, player check-in takes place every match at the fields with our field marshals. All players must show photo ID to check in prior to each match. So school ID, driver's license, something with your photo, and it's going to, again, starts 15 minutes prior to match time, and that ID must match the player name as it's printed on the roster. All that's squared away when you check in with your team. If there are any issues or questions, certainly see our tournament staff there at the headquarters. But at the field, you will see our field marshals. They're going to be in the NIRSA apparel. Bright orange is this year's color, so hopefully they'll be able to be seen from afar. They are there pre-match, as I mentioned already, for the check-in. Throughout the match and before the match as well, they're also there to answer any sort of administrative or tournament-related questions. They are not there to overrule officials or to make any sort of judgments in that way. They're just there as our tournament staff, and so they can help you with some sort of questions regarding tournament information. And post-match, they're there also for the scorecard. So team captains or a representative need to go over and sign the scorecard at the end of each match. And also you can turn in your all-tournament ballot. You can recommend players from your match to be awarded all-tournament honors at the conclusion of this year's championships. All right, let's talk about specific rules for soccer and the play on the field, and they're all going to be NCAA rules. The NIRSA National Soccer Championships will follow NCAA rules, and so if you're not familiar, break out that rule book. We're going to hit a few of the highlights right now so that you're ready for this particular championship. Match time is 2 40-minute halves. It's a running clock, and there's a 7-minute halftime in most matches. Now, when we get to the semifinals and the finals, we're going to take 10 minutes at halftime instead, so a little bit more rest time there. Please note that injury time may be added to the discretion of our game referee if an injury is serious enough to require professional attention. So if we have to have the training staff and have a significant injury which is going to significantly delay the game, then our referee may, at his or her option, add injury time to that particular half. So please be aware of that. And also, if we have a concussion, the person who has been suspected of a concussion will need to see a NIRSA athletic trainer. Team athletic trainers certainly can assist, but the NIRSA athletic trainer must make a decision with regards to if that player needs to go through the concussion protocol or can return to the match. So if we have a concussion on your field, we'll certainly want to alert our NIRSA athletic trainers that are going to be there on site with the tournament, and they will come over and make that evaluation of that particular player. Again, safety first for us. We want to make sure that all players are safe and okay to participate in the tournament. Let's talk about overtime. It will not happen in pool play. Pool play matches can end in a tie. When we get to the knockout round, certainly we have to have a winner in each particular round as we head to the championship. So overtime will be there for our knockout matches. It is one 15-minute period. It is a sudden victory overtime, so that goal, once scored, will be the win, and the match will be over. If we do not have a goal scored in the 15-minute overtime period, we'll go to penalty kicks. It's best of 5, and after 5, certainly round by round, kind of the standard penalty kick format. So this is the overtime procedure as we head into the knockout matches on Friday and Saturday at the tournament. Now, what about team and player equipment? Well, as I mentioned already, teams need to have 2 uniforms, a light and a dark uniform, and all players have to have a number at least 6 inches high, and we don't allow tape for that, so please come prepared with jerseys with numbers. The designated home team will be wearing the light jerseys, and you'll see that on the schedule, which team is home. And also our home teams will take the bench on the north or west side of midfield. And most of the fields in Foley are oriented in north and south direction, so you should be on the north side. And in fact, when you're standing at the field house facing the fields, that should be on the right side of midfield on all those. That'll be the north side, and our visiting team on the schedule will take the south side of midfield. Required player equipment. All players are required to have shin guards under socks and must have approved footwear, which include no center cleats. Some other prohibitive equipment for players include no jewelry, medical alert bracelets, and religious necklaces, for example, are permitted but must be taped down. No unpadded hard cast. If you have a soft cast, it must have a doctor's release being able to be shown to our tournament staff in order to be able to use that. No knee braces of hard, unyielding material. So if you have hinges, they need to be covered with the appropriate amount of padding. Certainly see our game officials who can help you with this before the game. We don't want you to step on the field with illegal equipment because you can receive a yellow card and will be sent off until corrections are made. So get it all cleared up before you get out there, and you'll stay out of trouble with prohibited equipment. All right, substitutions. Here are the noted times that you can make a substitution. Allowed for either team during goal kicks, for an injured player on a 1-for-1, for a yellow card, again 1-for-1 but not mandatory, and after a goal. Allowed for the team in possession only prior to a restart by a throw-in and corner kicks, but if the team in possession opts to make a substitution, then the opponent may also make a substitution at the same time. Our substitution location, as it is with most soccer matches, will be at midfield, so make sure your subs are over there to get into the match. All right, how about coaches? Well, our coaches have the responsibility for the conduct of players, substitutes, and fans at all times, and themselves, as a matter of fact. So make sure that our coaches are taking a leadership role in ensuring that the environment remains appropriately under control and sportsmanlike. Our coaching rules include no mechanical or electronic devices. Those are not permitted. Coaches must remain within 10 yards of the team bench, and no derogatory remarks or gestures, and no use of profanity or inciting disruptive behavior. Again, coaches must be behaving on the sidelines just as much as the players are on and off the field. Cautions and ejections. We'll take a look at our yellow card list here. Again, 2 yellow cards in a single match results in an ejection, and that's a red card. 3 yellow cards during the tournament results in suspension for the next match. So we'll be counting those and recording those throughout the tournament. Also of note is that we do not reset the number of yellow cards when we get to the knockout round. So if you have 2 headed into knockout and you get that 3rd one, then that suspension will take effect if your team wins that knockout round game in its next round. And coaches, we talked about that behavior, they can be carded as well, so we don't want that to happen. Again, best behavior is probably the best plan. Red cards and ejections. Ejected players may not be replaced, and ejected players are suspended for the next match and can be longer for serious violations. Our staff, tournament staff, will come over after a red card and certainly address the player and also any coach or team representative that they need to square up the situation with any sort of red card. So just know that our tournament staff will be over to assist if this particular problem occurs. Player behavior, just like our coaches. Again, we want you on the best behavior out there too. Profanity and inappropriate language will not be tolerated, and officials may issue cards for unsportsmanlike conduct. And note that protests, only protests of eligibility or a misapplication of a rule of the game will be considered, and no protests of judgment calls are accepted. All right, that's a look at the rules for soccer. Let's talk quickly about the tournament format, and that includes pool play in our different divisions. In the championship division, we will have 3 teams per pool, and 2 teams will advance out of each pool into the knockout round. And the 3rd place team will move into a consolation bracket. So regardless of how you do in pool play, all our championship division teams will move into some sort of bracket play throughout the weekend. Open division, different story. There are 4 teams per pool, and only the champion will advance into the knockout round. Also, the top 2 second-place teams will receive a wild card into the Open Division Championship bracket. So you will have more information, including all of our tiebreakers. That's online as well as in the packet of materials that we shared with you. But this is kind of the general breakdown for how our pool play works. Knockout round action is on Friday and continues right on into Saturday for our championship matches. The men's and women's Open Championships will occur at the same time on Saturday at 1 o'clock. And then we'll be over on the championship field for our men's national championship match at 3 p.m. And our women's national championship match will round out the championship weekend at 5 o'clock on the championship field on Saturday. We'll have team and all tournament awards after the men's national championship and women's national championship matches for Each division, except the Open Championships, we will award these winners during halftime of the respective men's or women's national championship over on the championship field. Tournament photos, if you're looking for a photo of your team or from the action throughout the weekend, well, clubsoccerphotos.com will be the website, and Alan will be there as our official photographer. If you'd like to schedule a particular time to have your team photo be made throughout the weekend, then certainly stop by tournament headquarters. We can get you connected with Alan or take down your information so that you can get a nice team photo. And you can, again, see more about what happens all weekend long at clubsoccerphotos.com. But staying on top of the scores, making sure that you're getting a full experience, not just there, but also your friends and family back home. Well, a couple places to go for that, and those are our websites. Play.nirsa.net/soccer. We'll have game recaps and videos and photos and scores and brackets. This is the place to go for all the updated information throughout the weekend. You can also follow us on social media, on Twitter and Instagram. @NIRSAChamp is our account, so go ahead and add us right now. And if you're going to be on social media, just tag everything with the hashtag NIRSASoccer throughout the weekend, and you can be part of the conversation. So play.nirsa.net/soccer is the place to go online for all of your tournament information. And finally, a couple of thank yous to the city of Foley, Alabama. We're glad to be coming down to the Gulf Coast of Alabama, and we thank the city of Foley for all of their hard work in welcoming us to the new Foley Sports Tourism Complex. And another special thank you to both Team Connection and to Flight Soccer. And that's a look at everything we think you need to know before you get there. If you have questions, certainly drop us a line at NIRSA headquarters, and we will answer them as well when you arrive for the NIRSA National Soccer Championships in November. For the NIRSA Championship Series and Florida State University, I'm David Peters.